Good morning. It is Thursday, the 14th of May. It's been a minute, huh? I know I look different. So let me start with that. Um, I've had my first AC. They say that there's mouth sores that's going to happen. And that's usually down in here and up in the gums area. I guess mine presented in my lips. So, as I've been told, women pay a lot of money to have this look. Um, Not a fan on me, but here we are, nonetheless. So yeah, my facial structure has changed a little bit. My lips, for sure. My eyes are a little. I use the word dead because I can't get emotion in my eyes the way I've always been able to. So visually, what you're seeing right now, that's everything that's going on there. Um, it looks like I've gained a ton of weight. I did gain 10 pounds though from start of all this. Steroids, all of that. And I'm not eating. I'm eating what I can, what I won't have a second time the other way. So yeah, just a lot of changes. But on that note, let's go back. So my first AC was 3 weeks ago. Tomorrow, um, they pump you with steroids still. So my Saturday was kind of okay, but I did go down Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, most of that week. Down like in bed, can't move, no, but down like got out of bed. I finally used the shower chair because I couldn't just stand there. I was not strong enough to stand there on my own, and made it to the couch or recliner that week. So that's about what I did. We put Uncrustables in the freezer. We put quick foods, like we have those little cups of macaroni and cheese. Um, Quick foods, because that's all. I didn't even want a Grubhub because I didn't want to open the door and meet with public at all in any capacity. So, um, yeah. So that's what I have coming up this week. Second week, it is like you're crawling out of a hole. They are correct there. So in your brain, you're like, oh, I feel good. And you get up and you throw a load of laundry in, and you make the coffee or the whatever. You take care of the cats. All of a sudden, you're breathing very hard. Your body is screaming at you to sit down, and you have just wasted the only energy that you were going to have that day. So by the end of the week, I finally learned my lesson because I'm stubborn that way. Um, and I learned that I had to do one thing. Don't knock over the camera, please. I had to do one thing and sit down, and then catch up and do the next thing and sit down. So that is the second week. Third week is this week. And we went to Disney. We went to Disney's Grand Californian. I think I mentioned it in previous posts. I took that bath in that huge tub. It was glorious. I was able to get on one of Carol's scooters because she has two, thankfully. And so her and I scootered around. We had some friends join us, and it was nice. I couldn't do, I couldn't stand in lines with people, so rides were not an option. Except one, the train, because you didn't have to be with people, and then you got your own little carriage, staying in the scooter. They bring you all the way to the end, so you're removed from people. Oh, and the Mark Twain. We secured seats in the front, so I had this wind blowing at me. I wasn't, next to people. We originally sat in a side seat underneath, and this lovely couple, I mean, they had a toddler and a baby, and he sat literally right next to me, because it was the bench holding a baby. Normally I'd be like, yeah, but I'm like, no, I have to get up and leave. And he was so apologetic, and Carol's like, please don't. And she explained what was going on. But yeah, we sat up front, so I got to ride those 2 rides, because they were out open in the air. So that was nice, staying in the scooter the whole time. So it was nice. It was nice to hear the music. It was nice to people watch. Just take it in. It's what I've been craving. I love that place. You all know that. So it was just nice. There was a little chaos with the rooms. They always tell you, oh, we're going to try and get you in early. Don't ever listen to that. 4 is 4. And the first room that we had, because we had a transfer, the first room that we had, they kept saying they were going to get us into a room, Finally, I walked up looking the way I do. My head thing on though, but I'm like, look, I need to lay down. Is there anything you can do? And they got us into a day room that we can, until our room was ready. So that was nice. It was one of their rooms, really. That was nice. Then we got into our room almost the minute we got to that room. So, but it was after 4. Then we had to transfer on the last night. So we transferred, and I didn't take into consideration that you had to be out at 11 and you couldn't be back until 4 again. So some of our time got spent waiting for rooms. They did though give us another day room, and on that day room I had to nap. I went down. I did too much. Today I'm finding myself without any energy at all. I'm going to do this, and this is going to be probably it. I'm going to go down for the rest of the day, because tomorrow's my infusion, and it's cumulative. So I'm worried that as we go, I have 3 more, but as we go, I'm going to get weaker and weaker. I have my MRI set. I get infusion on June 26th. I get my MRI on June 29th. So quick. And then the following week, I have my mammo and my ultrasound. Immediately after that, I meet with the surgeon. I met with the plastic surgeon for the closure. She made me feel good. I'm going to have to go back in for the side. If you're a woman that has the sides with your breasts, when you get a double mastectomy, and you have larger boobs, you'll probably have these side things. That's going to have to be a separate surgery, covered by insurance still. So, and she said it's an itty bitty surgery. It's not like what I'm going to go through with the double mastectomy. She said she's going to wrap me. See, the surgeon takes it off. The plastic surgeon is who I deal with from that point forward. She's going to wrap me with this very tight wrap for 6 weeks. I can only take it off after, is it 48 hours, 72 hours? I'll ask. I can only take it off for a shower. And then we got to wrap me back up 6 solid weeks. So, and then the first, I think 2 weeks, I'm going to have 2 drains. She told me 2 drains, not 4. So that's nice. Which I'll have a mastectomy pillow that I'll use most of that time. And they have pockets for the drains, so they're not pulling. So yeah, that's our next thing that we're looking at. We're looking at, what does cumulative mean for the rest of the AC? Am I going to get sicker and feel sicker than I did in this first round? and the surgery, I am eager to get back to work, simply because I need to exercise my brain. Being home is not all the time, is not for me. I need to do something. I need to have some kind of purpose, some kind of schedule. And so I am eager to get back to work. I am. Yeah. By the end of August, minus that smaller surgery that I have to go back for in 3 months, I should be good to go. Knock on wood. What have I learned? Well, that one thing, that you're only dealing with the surgeon for the surgery. Everything else after that is your plastic surgeon, which you need even if you're not getting reconstruction, because I'm not. I'm going flat. But if you want to go flat and have a good flat line, especially if you have bigger breasts, you need that plastic surgeon, because that's what they do. They make you look however you want to look. And I'd like a flatter line, no bumps, dips, dimples, any of that. So I really liked her. She very personable, very knowledgeable, made you feel like she heard you. So yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, tomorrow's infusion, we'll see what this, and I won't be back here to chat with you guys, probably for another 3 weeks, and we'll see. On the 3rd week, I'll come back in and see how that worked. I'm going to dump a couple of the Disney pictures at the end of this, because, it was cool. It was a good little break. I needed that, because I've been doing this since January. And, yeah, I needed that break. So it was nice. It was really nice. I almost spent too much money, but the other voice in my head was like, Stacy Lynn, what are you doing? So, other than that though, we're trudging along one step further. We're more than halfway through, the whole process. We are, as of tomorrow, halfway through the 2nd phase, looking forward to the 3rd phase. And that's only 2 months away. Like, we're almost at the end of May. I expect that my surgery is going to be the end of July. So, like, we're right there knocking on the door. So, yeah, I can see a light maybe at the end of that tunnel. I'm going to have to go probably through some crud to get there. Okay, let's go through the crud, There's no other choice that I have. I personally, I've said this before, I don't get too down. I might let a couple of leaks out of my eyes for this and that, but it's not going to do me any good to think about it, dwell on it, cry about it. And it's just me. If that is what you need to get through this, by all means do that. Get your emotions out however you do. I do tend to sit quietly in this room, meditate my way, and it helps me. I do the research, not the Google research where everyone is talking about the sky is falling, but actual, and so I get informed. I go every time I go and I see the doctor. I have a list of questions, because I didn't think of that question the last time I saw him. So as they come up, I write them down in my book. I take that book with me every time, and he sits and goes through every question. So that's really cool. He's typically late to his appointments because of that. So I never get mad. because he is sitting with each person and making them feel heard. and there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I started cross stitching. Keeps my mind busy, and I don't have the patience to learn crochet right now, which I'd really like to do, but I don't have that kind of patience. Or brain power, chemo brain. Again, I will tell you, it's real. I will tell Carol something, come in, let's say out in the living room, come in this room to grab something, come back out there. I'll either tell her again, because I literally forgot I just told her, or I'll completely forget it. She'll do whatever we were talking about, and I'm like, why'd you do that? And she just looks at me like, poor thing's treading lightly. Yeah. So I don't know how long I'm going to look this different, probably through the end of June. But you know what? If that's what it takes, it'll come back. It'll all come back. Yeah. So there's my update. Enjoy these pictures. There's just a few, but it was everything. It really was, to be able to do that. And even the fact that I couldn't do it all like I would have, I enjoyed it. So, my expectations have changed. So, all right. See you in 3 weeks. Bye, guys.